Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today's video we're going to be covering something that I have just finally done, and that is upgrading everyone's relic to the bird upgrade, which is a very slow grind. I'm not going to lie to you, mainly because you need the little like pizza slices things. They're the things that take the longest, but I finally done it. If like scroll through my entire box, and you'll see everyone who has their relic, which is every character in the game, has it upgraded, which was a pain. But now it's done, and I've got to do deer, which is even more painful. If you're wondering how impactful it is, well, upgrading each relic gives me a single GP point. You can see there are lots of relics. Of course, collaboration characters I normally have a unique relic. I think there's only one case where they're not unique and it's shared, and that's Green Aaron and Blue Aaron. They share the same relic. But apart from that, every other collaboration character has their own relic, and there's a lot of collaboration characters in this game. I'm not sure about GP points wise, but I do know that like CC wise, I can actually tell you roughly. So this is on the low end. This is without like the box effects from like, sorry, not box effects, like the gear effects of like having the gears rolled, like attack, defense, and HP. All the actual gear bonus themselves of like having 4-piece HP gives you a HP boost, stuff like that. So I have 256 relics. That also counts, like, for example, Blue Margaret and Red Margaret, they count as two separate relics, because you get two sets of CC out of them. One for blue, one for red. So each relic upgrade, if you haven't seen my relic upgrade thing, each relic upgrade gives you 500 CC, either bird upgrade or deer upgrade. So if you do 256 divided by 2, you get 128,000 CC for upgrading every relic. Of course, that is on the low end. You take gear into a factor. You're looking at maybe 750 a character, give or take, I would say between like 600 and 750 per character, because of course some characters can have better gear than others. Some characters may not have good gear at all, some may have really well rolled gear. So it's pretty big per character. Bear in mind, I own exactly 325 characters. I count all of these rows of characters, and there's 325 total, which is kind of crazy to think about. There's 325 characters in this game, but when it comes to relic upgrades, is it worth it? Bird itself, Bird for the Floor at least, is now extremely easy to farm. It's not as bad as what it was. It got heavy nerfed, especially from launch. Launch was horrendous. I'm surprised they haven't done it with deer yet. But Bird got heavy nerfed, and it's still actually quite an easy farm. It's quite a mindless farm. You can do it whilst really doing anything else, just on the side, have your phone out whilst you're watching a movie or just working or whatever. It is something you can just mindlessly do because it's extremely simple. Deer, on the other hand, does require a little bit of extra brain power, so it's not really doable like that, but it is worth it. 500 CC, let's say minimum, is quite impactful, especially if you're running, so let's say PvP. You've got a full team of just bird upgrade. That's 2000 CC. If everyone on your team has a relic and they're all upgraded, that's 2000 CC. Now let's just say you've got deer relic on top, a deer upgrade on top of that as well. That's 4000 additional CC. I know it seems like a grind, but it is in the end worth it, especially if you are pushing for higher box CC and you're sort of stuck. You're like, okay, I really need to get box CC, but I can't get any more characters, because that is a really easy way of getting box CC, is unlocking new characters. Of course, that's not always very simple. There's lots of banners don't have lots of the older characters in it. If we look at the free banner that we currently got out, no, not draw. They put it all the way at the end for some reason. It's got a lot of characters that maybe a normal player wouldn't have. Like, I don't know, blue mono or red Camilla characters, or green mono even. All these characters are really old and, don't really come out too often, which is why some of these banners are actually quite handy. I'm pretty sure also Green Valenti's meant to be on here, but I currently can... Oh, there she is. Right at the top. But yeah, characters like these are really good to get, because they're probably the best ways to get CC, just in general, is unlocking new characters. Even if they are really old, they still give you a significant amount of CC, and they actually give you the same amount of GP points as if you were obtaining, the brand new UR base festival, whoever it is, right? But that's the reason why relic upgrades are always just so handy. They're just so good. And of course, the more relics they add to the game, the more relics you can upgrade, and it's sort of, you got to keep on top of it. That's the problem I think I'm going to have now, is you need 160 of the slices to be able to not only make the relic, but also to upgrade it, because it requires the same slice it needed to make to also upgrade, which is the pain, because you're normally quite capped to how many you can get of those a week, which is the reason why it's taken me so long to do it. Because when I initially learned how easy it was to farm bird, I did all of the collaboration relics in about a month. It did help that I had my operation, so I was sort of not bedbound, but like I couldn't really do much, so that's what I was basically doing for most of the day. But yeah, it is worth it if you can farm it. It is worth it. It's a very slow grind, and my recommendation is you start the collaboration characters, solely because they don't actually require the slices to upgrade. They just require the blue crystals, the feathers, and the orb material that you need to upgrade the relics anyway, which is actually really handy because it means that, you know, if you don't have a lot of those slices, or you're saving them for, you know, the next update, because every update, or every end of month, unless it's a collab, we get a new relic, which is always good to sort of have enough for a day one, because some of them are like immediately meta breaking. Is it rare we get an immediate meta breaking relic nowadays? Yes, but it is still possible. But in the end, they're still worth upgrading, making, especially if they're more meta characters or characters that are good for links. That is also what you'll see here, is that like characters who are good for links, I've actually already upgraded to deer. I've actually upgraded most of the archangels to deer already, even archangels that you wouldn't really see as being too impactful. I've upgraded to deer. I don't think I'm going to find Ludo, because Ludo's probably down here somewhere. I've done Brynhild because it was LR Brynhild. I can't find the Ludos. They're somewhere in my box, I promise. It's just hard to find them. I don't know where on earth Ludo is. He's in there somewhere. But in the end, it's worth it. Upgrade him if you can. Of course, if you are struggling, I do have several guides on several teams throughout the history of Bird. You can go onto my channel. You can actually search on channels, on YouTube channels, to find certain videos. You type in Bird Floor 4, or the actual name of the demonic beast, which is Hov. I'm not going to try and pronounce it. I'm going to butcher it. But you can search that up, and you can see on my channel I have several teams through several parts of its timeline of its existence where I've gone over and used specific teams, either that's with Narbe, with Migueldo, with Traitor Melly even, and you'll find them and you can watch them, and I highly recommend watching them, especially if you are struggling, because I'm not gonna lie, you shouldn't really be struggling on Bird, especially if you are on the, I would say if you're above 8 million, you should be able to do Bird Floor 4. It's not that hard. Deer, on the other hand, if you can't do it and you're like 14 mil, I understand. Like, Deer is just pain. It is just genuinely pain. Even for me, I still find it quite painful. But it is worth it in the end, especially if you figure it out. You know, you do... I got 256 relics, right? If I upgraded both of them to Bird and to Deer, that is 256,000 CC, which is 250,000 CC, which is huge. Not only that, but you also got to think about the GP points as well. GP points are normally much harder to obtain. Most of the time, the ways you obtain lots of GP points is either making relics or obtaining characters and upgrading them, or even True Awakening, which gives you the same amount. And that is huge to your progression. That's something I think a lot of people don't really realise is how impactful even just one GP point is. You know, upgrading a single outfit or just maxing out affinities, just a single GP point. But after a while, you know, there's, like I said, 300 characters. Let's just knock out 60 of them as collab, right? So what does that leave me with? 265, right? That's still 265 GP points worth of, you know, outfits or headgears or whatever you get from that character's affinity, which is even huge for a player like myself who needs 350 for a single big crystal, which is absurd, but we're nearly done, thankfully. But yeah, I just wanted to make a video covering why I think it's important. You know, firstly, I want to show off the fact that I have upgraded everyone's relic to Bird, but also to show the importance of, you know, you may think it's only just a little bit of CC or it's just a single GP point, but all of them can add up, and especially if you are pushing box CC and you think you're at a dead end, there's always something else you can be pushing, and relic upgrades is it. Thank you for watching, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.